What you saying, people? Back with a bang. This is the Money Management, back here to bring you guys another video today. So I just realized this is actually my first video of September, so happy September to all of you guys out there. What I did want to point out is right now I'm actually recording about 2.5 hours into markets, so we can actually kind of see things that happen in live time. We're going to look at the market expectations for the rest of the month. We'll talk about what the Fed has done today while speaking. We'll look at a few different stocks I'm watching and how the markets have planned out this week. Also added to that, we'll look at a couple trades I've taken this week and the reasons for that. To begin with, I'm going to look at the S&P 500 ETF, SPY, ticker symbol SPY. Now, you guys might know that this morning, right about before pre-market, Jerome Powell started speaking. The strange thing is, you see the huge drop-off, right? Pre-market. SPY dropped about 4 points, right? And then rallied. The reason being, this guy didn't actually say much in regards to bad news. So while he was speaking, there's a lot of fear, a lot of expectation of negative news. Meanwhile, he didn't really say anything that we didn't already know. Now, this is why you saw the downtrend before the market and then the rally during the market. So one thing to highlight here is whenever you're trading, don't assume that, just because the Feds are speaking that the market is going to continue dropping. It did drop until market open, and then as you see it just rally straight up. So we actually took advantage of this in the group because shout out to Oscar. He did call a SPY 400 call early in the day when SPY was like 396, and look how SPY ran all the way to 478 cents and then dropped off again. Now, for those of you who came and live traded with us in the lounge, you guys know that today the trade I took was AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. This is a stock from the semiconductor sector. And what I did with this was an $84 call. Now, the reason I did this was here. If you see the 5-minute chart, I got in on the bounce as it started to uptrend, right? And if you look at this chart very closely, we'll look at it from close up and then we'll look at it from further out. If you look at this chart closely, you can see this price action is holding tight to the 9-day moving average here. Very tight. And this is what we like. I mean, once it did break below, it started arriving at the 21-day moving average and started uptrending again. But if a stock is bouncing on the moving average multiple times, it's just giving you a great potential for entry, especially when the rest of the market is running. That just gives you an idea of like what's happening. And you're like, you know what? I can take the limited risk here with a high possibility of reward. Now you can see this green line here. And that green line comes from my daily chart. I've had that green line there for ages. That is my price target. That was my price target for these calls. Now, AMD didn't actually reach that high, but we were up around 70% at maximum at one time. I believe long-term AMD is going to drop because you see we're just around the resistance level. But this is why I said let's zoom out. Overall, semiconductors past month have been bearish, and that's normal. If it's bearish like this, then you should expect a lot of red days. But here, this could be a potential level of support, a little bit of a bounce here, and we start to see an uptrend. But like I said, again, this green line, this 9-day moving average on the daily chart is a critical point because we could break above and continue rising, or we get rejected here and continue the downtrend. So that's why I would say taking calls into tomorrow, especially with them expiring tomorrow, wouldn't be the best choice. But what I would do now is put this on my watch list, watch for the break above 83.59 and see how far it goes. On the other hand, I would look to see if it gets rejected here and starts downtrending again. Like I said, I'm recording this video live time. So for those of you who are watching this, once you watch it, obviously, the price action may be a little bit different. But here you can see on a smaller time frame exactly what I'm talking about. Here, we were bouncing along the moving average. Now we broke below, and it looks like we pushed up and got rejected by the moving average. So it looks like now is the time for another put play. So in this case, what you'd want to look at, see how the candle's pushing on. You'd want to look at a few different time frames just to see the best entry. And if you are entering a put, I would recommend you wait for a push up. And when it's like at 82.38 or so and it starts rejecting again, that's when to get in. You don't want to get in as it's pulling back because those are poor entries. And usually it doesn't just drop down, usually pulls back and then drops down. or pushes up and drops down, I should say. Just like here, pulls back, then pushes up. Now we're doing the opposite, push up, then drop down. So the other trade I took yesterday, swinging in today, was CRM, Salesforce. So with Salesforce, we got in here around 151. Again, this is a play that we had in the live trading lounge in the Discord. Yesterday, got in around 151 with a price target of around 155.06. So we got in somewhere here as during the break above the moving average. As it pushed up, pulled back, pushed up, pulled back. It looked very steady, and it continued to trend all the way to hitting highs of 154. Now overnight, obviously it did drop, but then straight out the gates it pushed up, and with everything else in the market moving, it did look like this was still a good play. Now we reached my price target of 155.06 around here, and I was able to take profit over 113% returns. But just look how high it reached, $157. So if you did get in this call out, you would have made around 210% overall. So obviously that was a great play, and something which is always important to remember. When you see stocks tank overnight, just give it a few minutes when the market opens. You might be adding a bit more risk to your play, but if you're confident in your play and you do look at the candles, look at different time frames, you can better scope out what you're trying to do. Now it's broken below the moving average. Again, this is probably a good time for puts when it comes to this play. I'm going to jump over to Exxon Mobil right now so I can discuss my expectations for that. So this one is a pretty interesting one. You guys know I'm a long-term shareholder in this company. It is from the gas sector. So right now, it's struggling to break above the moving average, right? It pushed up, got rejected at the daily resistance zone, broke down, and it's just been flirting around these two moving averages, the 9-day and 21-day. So it's hovering around here right now. And I don't want to touch this, but my shorter term expectation for this is a push upwards to around $100 again, just below that daily resistance, just around where that entry to daily resistance zone is. But for that to happen, I want to see a couple more green days and a close above the moving averages. Definitely a close above the 95.38 level, above this 21-day moving average, just like previously. And then I'll have a strong indication of getting into calls on this, especially for a swing. So that's what I watched for Exxon Mobil. For those of you who want to trade this in a shorter term time frame, you probably want to be looking at the 15-minute charts, want to be trading this intraday and probably not swinging if you're looking at the 15 or 5-minute charts. But look at that 15-minute red candle, huge red candle on 15-minute. This is what I do like about recording videos during market hours, because you can kind of see what's happening and then try and decide what you want to do moving forward. But here's a breakdown. Now would be a good idea to trade puts towards the support zone here, about a 60-cent drop. But anyway, yeah, you kind of get my drift here. Now I want to look at Walmart. Walmart is another stock that is constantly discussed in our Discord, by Shonuff, by Oscar, by many of us, right? So with Walmart, if we go to the daily chart, and you'll see here Walmart, right? Pushed up to the daily resistance this week in this zone, 136.55, and then today it's kind of just started dropping back down. So you see this huge wick and a tiny body. Obviously the day is not over yet, but in comparison to yesterday's body, it's a huge difference. Now my price target for Walmart is the 137.99 level, but first I want to get back up to the 136.86 level, push above this daily resistance, and then we can break up towards here. If we do break above this resistance level, we could be flying. But on the contrary, if we fail to break above, you could watch for another downtrend back to 134, back to 133. So keep your eyes out on that. Now I'm going to look at my overall expectations for the market this month. So we can look at SPY or you can look at SPX. It's up to you. For now, I'm going to look at SPY. So here we are. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride, isn't it? 2022 has been a bit of a roller coaster this summer as well. So we had a nice push up the second half of July, beginning of August, and now we've started our downtrend. Honestly, for September,
game.